Happiness is not something that magically falls into your lap. It's not waiting for you in the next promotion, the next relationship, or the next paycheck. Happiness is created. It is built from the inside out. And the truth is, there are two simple daily habits that, if you commit to them, can shift your emotional state immediately and increase your happiness starting today. The first habit is gratitude. Gratitude is the doorway to joy, no matter what your circumstances look like right now. When you wake up and consciously decide to focus on what's right instead of what's wrong, you rewire your nervous system. You train your brain to stop chasing happiness and start experiencing it in the present. Gratitude interrupts fear. Gratitude kills stress. Gratitude transforms not enough into more than enough. When you practice gratitude daily, happiness stops being conditional. It becomes your default setting. The second habit is movement. Most people underestimate how deeply the body influences the mind. When you move, whether it's a workout, a brisk walk, dancing to your favorite song, or even just changing your posture, you send a powerful signal to your brain. You tell yourself, I am alive, I am energized, I am in control. Movement generates momentum, and momentum creates positive emotions. You cannot stay stuck in despair if you teach your body to move with purpose every single day. These two habits are not complicated. They don't require money, luck, or perfect timing. They require a decision, the decision to start your day with gratitude instead of complaint, the decision to move your body instead of letting stress and negativity trap you. Do this consistently, and you'll discover that happiness isn't something you wait for. It's something you cultivate. Happiness doesn't begin someday. It begins today in the choices you make. And these two daily habits are the foundation for a life that feels fulfilling, energized, and unstoppable. Gratitude is the ultimate state changer. When you practice it daily, you don't just think differently. You feel differently, you see differently, and you live differently. Gratitude has the power to transform suffering into peace, scarcity into abundance, and chaos into clarity. And the beauty of it is this: you don't need to earn it, you don't need to wait for it, and you don't need permission to experience it. Gratitude is available to you every single moment of your life. Think about it. Your brain is wired to protect you. That means it constantly looks for what's wrong, what's missing, what could hurt you. This negativity bias is why so many people wake up anxious, stressed, or unsatisfied even when life is objectively good. Gratitude flips that script. The moment you pause and say, what's already beautiful, what's already working, what's already enough, you interrupt the old programming. You send a new signal to your nervous system. Suddenly, the same life feels completely different. When you feel grateful, fear can't dominate you, stress can't control you, anger can't consume you. Gratitude acts like an emotional shield, protecting you from the toxins of negativity. You can be in the middle of a storm, and gratitude gives you an anchor. You can be surrounded by problems, but gratitude pulls your attention back to possibility. It doesn't mean you ignore challenges. It means you face them from a place of strength instead of weakness. And here's the truth most people miss. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It's a discipline. It's a habit you cultivate with intention. You don't wait for the perfect moment to feel grateful. You create the moment. Every morning when you wake up, you can choose to focus on what's missing, or you can train yourself to focus on what's present. Imagine starting each day by asking, what am I proud of? What am I excited about? Who do I love and who loves me? If you practice that, your entire emotional landscape would shift within minutes. You see, gratitude changes not just your emotions, but your physiology. Science shows that when you practice gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, in the very chemicals that make you feel joy and connection. You're literally flooding your body with happiness hormones, and all it takes is the decision to focus on what's good. That's why gratitude is not some fluffy idea. It's a biochemical strategy to take control of your life. Think about a time when you were truly grateful. Maybe it was holding your child. Maybe it was that moment you overcame something you thought would break you. Maybe it was as simple as watching the sun set and realizing life is a miracle. In those moments, didn't you feel alive? Didn't you feel rich even if your bank account wasn't full? Gratitude unlocks that richness. It doesn't wait for external success. It generates internal success. Here's the secret. gratitude multiplies. The more you practice it, the more things you notice to be grateful for. You start with 3 things in the morning, and soon you're seeing beauty everywhere. An encouraging word, a smile from a stranger, the gift of breath filling your lungs. Gratitude creates momentum. Momentum creates energy. Energy creates a new way of living. But here's the catch. Most people practice gratitude occasionally when life feels good. That's not the level that changes you. The real power is practicing it when life feels hard, when you're tired, when things don't go your way. That's when gratitude becomes a weapon. That's when it transforms from a practice into a superpower. Imagine facing rejection, and instead of sinking, you pause and say, "What can I still be grateful for in this moment?" That one shift changes your entire trajectory. Gratitude also expands your relationships. Have you ever noticed how people light up when they feel appreciated? The fastest way to deepen a connection is to express genuine gratitude. Tell your partner you appreciate the little things. Tell your friend how much they matter. Tell your team what you value about them. Gratitude strengthens bonds because it pulls people out of criticism and into appreciation. And the truth is, what you appreciate appreciates. If you want more happiness in your life, you don't need more stuff. You don't need more recognition. You don't need more achievements. You need more appreciation. Happiness is not about what's outside. It's about how you perceive what's already inside. Gratitude is the lens that reveals the richness you've been overlooking. Every time you practice gratitude, you're training your nervous system to live in abundance instead of lack. And when you live in abundance, you stop chasing happiness. You embody it. You stop waiting for the next chapter. You celebrate the current one. You stop needing external validation. You generate internal fulfillment. Now imagine living your life from that place. Imagine waking up every day already full, already grateful, already happy. Not because everything is perfect, but because you trained yourself to see the perfection in everything. That's the gift of gratitude. That's the reprogramming of your mind. That's the path to joy that's not dependent on circumstances, but on choice. The question isn't whether gratitude works. It always does. The question is whether you'll make it a daily ritual, a non-negotiable, a habit that shapes who you are and how you show up in the world. Because the moment you do, happiness is no longer something you wait for. It becomes something you live. Your body is the most powerful tool you have for changing your emotional state. Most people think happiness comes from thoughts, from circumstances, or from some external shift. But the truth is, happiness starts in your physiology. When you move, when you breathe differently, when you use your body with energy and intention, you create a surge of emotion that nothing outside of you can replicate. Movement is not just exercise. It is a signal to your nervous system that you are alive, strong, and ready to engage with life. Think about what happens when you're feeling down. Your shoulders slump. Your breathing becomes shallow, your head drops. That physical posture tells your brain a story. I'm tired, I'm defeated, I'm not in control. The incredible part is, you don't need words for your brain to believe that story. Your body language alone creates the emotional state. But here's the flip side. When you change your posture, when you lift your chest, when you take a deep, full breath, when you move with energy, you send a new story to your brain. I am powerful, I am alive, I am ready. That story produces happiness, confidence, and strength. Most people live in emotional ruts because they live in physical ruts. They sit too long, they move too little, and they let stress tighten their body like a cage. No wonder they feel stuck. But the moment you break that pattern with movement, everything changes. Even something as simple as a brisk walk outside can reset your mood. Movement produces momentum, and momentum is the mother of emotion. It's not about having an expensive gym membership or a perfect fitness plan. It's about remembering that your body is a machine designed for energy. The more you move it, the more energy it creates. Think of your body as a battery. If you keep it idle, the charge drains, but if you move, you generate power. That power shows up as vitality, clarity, and happiness. When you commit to daily movement, you're not just working your muscles, you're training your mind. You're proving to yourself every day that you can generate energy on demand. That's priceless because happiness requires energy. If you're exhausted, if your body feels heavy and slow, even the best opportunities won't make you feel alive. But if your body is electric with energy, you bring happiness into every situation, regardless of what's happening around you. Science backs this up. Movement floods your body with endorphins, natural chemicals that elevate your mood and reduce pain. It reduces stress hormones like cortisol, which means your body relaxes into balance. It increases oxygen flow, sharpening your focus and awakening your senses. You literally feel better, think clearer, and act bolder when you move. That's why movement is not optional. It's essential. Have you ever noticed how kids seem endlessly happy and full of life? It's not because they have no responsibilities. It's because they're constantly moving. They jump, they run, they dance, they roll on the ground. They use their bodies with freedom, and that freedom fuels joy. As adults, we forget that. We become still, rigid, restrained, and then we wonder why our happiness disappears. The answer is simple. Move like life is stealing you, because it is. Movement is also about breaking patterns. Imagine you're spiraling into stress. Your mind is racing, your emotions are tightening. In that moment, what happens if you stand up, shake out your body, take 10 powerful breaths, and jump in place? Your mind can't hold onto the same stress while your physiology is being radically altered. Movement interrupts the spiral. It gives you an instant reset. That's why some of the most powerful transformations come not from sitting and thinking, but from standing and moving. And it doesn't need to be complicated. Dance to a song you love, stretch for 10 minutes in the morning, take the stairs instead of the elevator, do push-ups, jumping jacks, or even just shake your arms and legs like you're waking them up. It's not about the form, it's about the energy. What matters is that you teach your body every single day that it is alive and capable of generating joy through movement. Another gift of movement is confidence. Think about the times you felt proud, unstoppable, victorious. Your body was not slouched. It was upright, powerful, energized. That's no coincidence. Your body doesn't just reflect your emotions. It creates them. Walk with confidence and you will start to feel confident. Breathe with depth and you will feel calm. Move with passion and you will feel passion. Happiness is the byproduct of the physical energy you bring into your life. Movement is also contagious. When you move with energy, people around you feel it. They're inspired, they're lifted, they're reminded of what's possible. You've probably seen this. A person walks into the room with vitality, and suddenly everyone else feels better. That's not magic, it's physiology. Movement generates energy and energy transfers. When you move daily, you don't just increase your own happiness. You multiply happiness for everyone you touch. Happiness is not passive. You can't wait for it to knock on your door. You create it by how you use your body. Every time you choose movement over stagnation, you're choosing life over decay, joy over stress, empowerment over victimhood. The body is not just a vehicle. It's the generator of emotion. Use it, and it will serve you with energy beyond what you thought possible. Imagine building this habit into your mornings. You wake up, and instead of dragging yourself into the day, you put on music. You move your body, you breathe deeply, you generate energy before the world demands anything from you. How different would your life feel if happiness wasn't something you stumbled upon, but something you engineered through your body every single day? That's the gift of movement. It puts happiness back in your control. The reality is simple. Your emotions are linked to your motions. Change the way you move, and you change the way you feel. Move with intensity, and you'll feel intensity. Move with joy, and you'll feel joy. Movement is the shortcut to happiness that's been sitting right inside your skin all along. All you have to do is claim it. Happiness isn't about what you do once in a while. It's not about the one breakthrough moment, the single great day, or the rare spark of inspiration. Happiness is built by what you do consistently over and over again until it becomes your way of life. The habits you repeat are the blueprint of your emotions, and the truth is simple. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates happiness. Think about riding a bicycle. The first push feels heavy, awkward, unsteady. But once you build speed, you barely have to think. The momentum carries you forward. Life works the same way. Starting gratitude once feels nice, moving once feels energizing, but it's the repetition that compounds the effect. Do it every day, and it becomes your identity. Consistency is the bridge between a temporary high and a lasting state of joy. Most people don't lack strategies, they lack consistency. They try something for a week, maybe two, and when life gets busy, they stop. Then they wonder why happiness feels unstable, why joy slips away. It's not because the habits didn't work, it's because inconsistency robs them of the compound effect. Just like watering a plant once won't make it grow, practicing habits once won't transform your life. The magic comes from showing up daily. When you commit to consistency, you're telling yourself, I can trust me. That's powerful. Happiness grows when you build self-trust because you no longer feel at the mercy of circumstances. You don't have to wait for the right day, the right mood, or the right opportunity. You create stability by showing up no matter what. That sense of control breeds peace, and peace fuels happiness. Momentum is a law of life. Once you start rolling in one direction, it gets easier to keep moving. That's why consistency matters. Every time you repeat a habit, you're stacking energy, you're stacking proof, you're stacking results. At first, the progress feels invisible, but then one day you wake up and realize you feel lighter, happier, more fulfilled. Not because of one massive action, but because of hundreds of small, consistent actions that built momentum over time. Think about this in your own life. The happiest people you know are not the ones who had one lucky break. They are the ones who consistently chose to feed their body with energy, feed their mind with gratitude, and feed their spirit with purpose. They didn't wait for happiness. They cultivated it daily until it became who they are. That's the gift of consistency. It transforms habits into identity. Consistency is also about resilience. There will be days you don't feel like practicing gratitude, days you don't feel like moving your body, days you want to give in to stress, laziness, or distraction. But if you commit to consistency, you don't let your feelings dictate your actions. You let your actions shape your feelings. And that's when the real transformation happens. Happiness stops being fragile because you no longer rely on motivation. You rely on discipline. Another gift of consistency is confidence. Every time you show up for yourself, even when it's inconvenient, you strengthen your belief in who you are. You begin to trust that you will follow through, and that trust creates certainty. Certainty creates freedom, and freedom is a cornerstone of happiness. Inconsistency breeds doubt. Consistency builds power. There's a saying, small hinges swing big doors. That's what consistency does. The small daily habits may not look dramatic on the surface, but they unlock massive change over time. Gratitude practiced daily can heal years of negativity. Movement practiced daily can reverse decades of stress. Together with consistency, they create unstoppable momentum that shifts your entire emotional reality. It's not about perfection. Nobody is consistent 100% of the time. It's about standards. When you raise your standards and decide, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is non-negotiable. You create an internal rhythm. Miss a day, fine, get back the next day. The rhythm matters more than the exception. Consistency is not about never falling, it's about always returning. Momentum built from consistency also makes happiness easier. In the beginning, it feels like effort. You have to remind yourself to practice gratitude. You have to push yourself to move. But after weeks and months of consistency, it no longer feels like effort. It feels like breathing. It's automatic. That's when happiness shifts from something you pursue into something you live. And let's be honest, life will test your consistency. Stress, setbacks, unexpected problems, they'll all show up. But if you've built momentum, you'll have an emotional foundation that can withstand those storms. Consistency doesn't eliminate challenges, it gives you the strength to face them without losing your joy. Happiness becomes sustainable because it's not tied to what happens, it's tied to what you consistently do regardless of what happens. Imagine the compound effect of just 1 year, 365 mornings of gratitude, 365 days of moving your body. Do you think you'd feel the same as you do today? Or would you feel more alive, more centered, more empowered? That's the math of consistency. It multiplies happiness until it becomes undeniable. Momentum is the difference between wishing for happiness and owning it. When you're consistent, you don't just touch happiness, you live in it. You don't just hope for joy, you embody it, and once momentum carries you, it becomes harder to stop being happy than it is to start again. That's the unstoppable energy that only consistency can give.